One of the 14 South African soldiers killed in the eastern DRC will be buried at Nhlaniki village outside Giyani in Limpopo today. The SANDF Rifleman Derrick Maluleke was on his second deployment to the DRC when he was killed in clashes with the M23 rebels. The mortal remains of the soldiers were handed over to the families at the Air Force Base Swartkop in Pretoria on Thursday. SABC News reporter Pimani Baloyi is at the funeral, and we'll take you there live. A very good morning to Pimani. Thank you so much for joining us. I suppose, well, it's a moment for the family to appreciate that the day has really come for them to lay to rest their loved ones. Just give us a quick update as to what's happening.
Good morning, Simpiwe, and good morning to our viewers. As you rightfully stated, this family, the Maluleke family, was part of the 14 families who received the mortal remains of their loved one in Pretoria, in Centurion a few days ago. And yesterday we saw that military vehicle that you see behind me parading with Mr. Rifleman Derrick Maluleke's coffin throughout the village. It was the first time that that coffin came to the village, and the military took it off, and we expect it to come back later this morning for that funeral service. We've seen the program, Simpiwe. There are two parts to this program. The first part is the family program, where his loved ones, his wife, his children, alongside his friends and neighbors will be speaking about him and how they will dearly miss him. But as you can see, it's raining here at Nhlaniki village. But the second part of that program is a military program, a fully fledged military funeral. So to speak more about what that means and what we can expect from that military funeral, I'm joined by Major Tlhage from the SANDF. Major, thank you so much for your time. For people who've never attended a military funeral, what can we expect here at Nhlaniki today?
Okay, thank you, madam. Let me first correct you. I am not a major, I am Sergeant Major. Yes, I introduce myself as I am a Chief Warrant Officer Tlhage. I will be the one, madam, responsible for the whole proceedings in the regimental line.
What does that mean? What will be the proceedings? But I also want to, I've seen social media posts from residents of Nhlaniki with this vehicle behind us with the coffin. Take us through what happened last night and what will happen today.
Oh, no, last night, madam, we were just rehearsing. We were doing the rehearsal. As you saw us on the road marching down to the gravesite, we will be forming up here on the road. That will be the procession. You see this vehicle there, that one will be the car, will be the one that will be transporting the coffin. That we call it the gun carriage. Yes, madam. The proceedings will be this side, and it will be as follows. As you look on it, in the front it will be the escort, the soldiers that will be drilling in front. Okay, madam. Followed by them, it will be the leading detachment. Then it will become the orchestra, that is the band. Then behind the band, it will be now this vehicle there, led by the chaplain. Yeah, the chaplain is our Muruti in the military. Then behind this vehicle here, we will have the chief mourners. The chief mourners in our doctrine is the family. Then behind the family, it will be our chief of staff, that is our general. And then followed by the general in their seniority.
Then it's due to time, then what happens when you get to the cemetery? What happens to the flag? What happens to his uniform?
Yeah, I'm not sure which flag are you talking about. But
flag, the South African flag.
Oh, the South African flag, yes. I'll be having the South African flag that will be draped in the coffin. Madam, on top of it, there will be a small flag, we call it a storm flag, decorated with his beret, and then the medals, and then the belt. That is the small one that we are going to give it to the family. That one remained with the family. But the big one, the ceremonial one, we take with it. We're going to do other funerals with it.
Will there be another parade? Are we likely to see this village a hive of activity? I understand this is a sad moment for the SANDF.
Madam, I will not talk about other parades, ma'am. I am tasked only for this one. So I will not talk about other parades.
Thank you so much, Warren. As you can see, Simpiwe, the coffin has just arrived at Nhlaniki village, and the funeral, according to the program, this funeral program was set to start at 6 a.m. As I stated, it would have started with the family program, and then that military funeral service would start. But right now, the coffin is over there, as you can see in that carriage. We are not sure what is going to happen, if it's going to be put in that military vehicle for it to be able to go to the cemetery. As you heard the Superintendent Warrant explaining the proceedings that would happen in terms of going to the cemetery and how the funeral service will unfold. There are also other vehicles behind this coffin, where we expect family members might also be using them to get to the gravesite. And you've heard that the chief mourners will, however, be in the military vehicle, but other family members who are also affected by this death will be inside the other vehicles. Let me see if I can bring in another major from the SANDF to see if we can. Major, please come closer to me. Major Mashiani, who's the media liaison officer. Let's speak about other funerals. This is the first funeral in Limpopo, but we know there are other soldiers who died in the DRC. Let's talk about, do we have dates?
Good morning. Thank you so much for your question. Unfortunately, at this point, I cannot speak on behalf or give out any dates of the coming funerals, but we are aware that they are underway, possibly in the coming weekends. This is the very first funeral that we are attending to, and by so saying, the other different provinces, it will also depend on the different families in the different provinces. So we will be getting guidelines with regards to that.
Should we expect any dignitaries here?
Of course, we are anticipating that the Chief of the South African National Defence Force, Lieutenant General Ruzani Maptwanya, would be part of this funeral, and I believe we have the Chief of Staff is already here in terms of protocol. He's already here. Lieutenant General Ramanzwana is also here. We've got Major General VZ Ngobo, who's also here representing the Chief of the South African Army, and various others in terms of different protocols. As the day proceeds, we will update as such.
Thank you so much. That's Major Mashiani. As you can see, Simpiwe, the coffin is entering this venue where the funeral service is being held. We'll have to hand back to you in studio as this funeral starts. Simpiwe.
All right, Pimani, thank you so much for joining us. Pimani Baloyi, they are a reporter out at the Nhlaniki village, just outside Giyani in Limpopo today, as we've just seen the remains of SANDF Rifleman Derrick Maluleke have just arrived at the venue, signaling the start of the funeral service.